All right, what's going on, guys? I gotta give you guys the top 5 best Warzone ranked loadouts. You guys are gonna need this. But before we get into that, I put a secret word in this video. I'm gonna give away 3 $10 codes to random people that find the code. So we're gonna get started, and I want to start out with the Cronen Squall. Now, a lot of people have been, kind of scared to use the Cronen Squall because it recently got nerfed. But guess what? I have something for you guys, and it is an amazing version of this gun. So we're gonna start out with the Custovia DX90 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, recoil smoothness, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, aim walking speed, and aiming stability. Set the bullet velocity at 0.52 inches and the recoil smoothness at 0.54 ounces. The next thing we're going to put on is the HR 6.8 barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Set the damage range to 0.40 inches and the recoil steadiness to 0.39 pounds. This one is a special one. So I know a lot of people were using the thermal sight, but a lot of people have been starting to use a Schlager 3.4, and so you just set the tuning to far distance being maxed out. I don't know how I really feel about this in particular. In my opinion, I would use the aim op, but I do want to show you this version and the aim op version as well. 50 round drum unless you think you can handle the 30. If you have 30, then you'll have way more movement speed, aim down sight speed, reload quickness, and sprint to fire speed. So it's completely up to you, whichever one you want to use. I just think the 50 is a better option. And then the lock grip precision 40 with no tuning at all. Trust me, you don't have to tune it. Do not tune it. It's not a good idea. If you want to tune it, the only thing I suggest is moving the aim down sight speed, but as you guys see, it doesn't help that much. That's why I suggest not really tuning it. It's not really in your best interest. So I would leave it alone. So I want to show you guys how amazing this is. It's really easy to actually use this. Short, medium, long range gets the job done. As you guys see, long range bounces a tiny bit, but I mean, honestly, who cares? Short, medium, long range gets the job done. Now, if you guys don't want to use a Schlager, even though a lot of people have been using it recently, and I mean, I don't blame you. Like I said, me personally, I probably wouldn't want to use it either. Aim out before, set the max distance, and use this. This is actually way easier in my opinion. Now there's one more thing I can show you guys, because I've been seeing a lot of people use this too. It's honestly one of these. Now if you guys want to use one of these, completely fine. This one I wouldn't really suggest it. This is kind of out there, but just for the fun of it, they're all going to be tuned the same basically. Set the far distance to max out, and then check this out. So this is honestly the goofiest one out of all of them. Most likely you're going to be using the Slimline Pro or Slimline Midi. I'm just showing you guys that essentially it's going to be the same thing for all these. But like I said, Aimot V4, that's really the one that I would go with. And this is the best build for the Cronen Squall. Now we're going to move on real quick. The secondary that I would use would be the FTAC Siege. And I would use the MP9 version. We're just going to show you guys a class setup real quick. Everything here, you guys can tune it basically on your own. It's not really important to go too into that. Here's the tuning. Pretty much everything is naked other than the super tack. There's what you want to need use. But stun grenade, throwing knife, perk package is this: tracker, double time, fast hands, and high alert. I think that that's optimal. You'll know where your enemies are, and I mean, obviously if footsteps are coming or you see a trail of footsteps, you'll have an idea of where the enemies went to. Next thing I want to show you guys is the ISO Hemlock. People are sleeping on the ISO Hemlock, and I don't know why. Put on the Harbinger D20 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking speed. Set the bullet velocity at 0.87 inches and the recoil smoothness at 0.54 ounces. Put on the Aimot V4s at the far distance and max out. Put the 45 round mag on unless you think you can handle 20, which I don't recommend. It's not really in your best interest. FTAC Ripper 56, set the aiming out stability at 0.35 inches and recoil stabilization at 0.65 ounces. This helps with aiming out stability, hip fire accuracy, and recoil stabilization at the cost of walking speed and aim down sight speed. Here's the end product, and like I said, this thing is literally busted. I don't care how many times they try to nerf it, there's just nothing they can do to really stop it. It's just honestly that weapon. I'm gonna show you guys one more time, just so you guys it's not a fluke. Like, I'm barely holding the thumbstick down and it just gets the job done so easily. Same package, same everything else. Next thing I do want to show you guys though is the Valve 46. Now this one is kind of interesting. I think that there's going to be some better options for SMGs, but this is one of them if you guys want to use it. X10 RR40 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Set the bullet velocity 0.32 inches and don't change the weight. Schlager L203 barrel for damage range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity at the cost of aim down sight speed and hip recoil control. Set the damage range to 0.30 inches and do not change the weight. Put on the demo RXT stock for crouch movement speed, sprint speed, and aim down sight speed at the cost of recoil control. Set the aiming out of stability at 1.70 inches and the weight to negative 1.42 ounces on the aim down sight speed. Put on the Schlager Soldier Grip For sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed at the cost of recoil control, set the sprint to fire speed to negative 0.20 inches and the weight to negative 0.48 ounces on the aim down sight speed. Here's the end product, and I think it's actually pretty good. Like I said, actually melts pretty easy. Long range, I wouldn't really try to mess with just because, I mean, it's going to be a little difficult. Like, you're going to be able to get kills, but I would just stick to short to medium range. That's where you're going to shine. What I do recommend, though, is the MP5. This thing is amazing, is other known as the Lachmann Sub. Because it's ranked play, I would suggest using a barrel if you didn't want to use, say, the 40-round mag or a muzzle. Either or interchangeable, they would be fine. But this is the build I recommend. Merc foregrip. Set the hip walking speed to negative 0.54 ounces and aim down sight speed to negative 0.28 inches for hip fire accuracy, recoil steadiness, hip recoil control, and aim walking steadiness at the cost of hip walking speed and aim down sight speed. Set on the 9mm over pressured for target flinch. Set the bullet velocity at 4.94 GR and damage range of 0.45 G. 40 round mag unless you think you can handle the 50, but I just don't think that's necessary. I think 40 is more than enough. VLK laser 7MW for aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed at the cost of laser being visible in ADS. Do not change the zeroing distance. Change the weight to negative 0.23 ounces for sprint to fire speed, and then put on the mirror recoil 56 factory stock for aiming stability, recoil control, and sprint speed at the cost of aim walking speed, aim down sight speed, and crouch movement speed. Do not change the length. Put the aim down sight speed to negative 1.94 ounces or as close as you possibly can. And here's the end product. This is something that I'm actually very proud of because you can actually get long range kills with this SMG. The previous version I have for like, what is it, Resurgence? The thing is, you can get kills, but long range is just a no. This, you can actually get long range kills. So this is something you definitely want to use and have it on your arsenal. It just gets the job done very easily. Now, there is one more thing I want to show you guys, and that is the Vaznev. The Vaznev is so incredible, and honestly, it's going to be most likely the thing you get taken out by the most close range. So put on the X10R 40 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Set the bullet velocity at 0.39 inches and set the weight to negative 0.05 ounces for aim down sight speed. Well, on the cast 1.3 81mm for damage range, hip fire accuracy, and bullet velocity at the cost of aim down sight speed and hip recoil control. Set the damage range at 0.15 inches and the recoil steadiness at 0.34 pounds. Put on the broadside FCT for aiming stability, crouch movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint speed at the cost of aim walking speed and recoil control. Set the aiming out stability at 0.70 inches and the aim down sight speed to negative 3.87 ounces or as close as possible. Put on a true tag grip for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed at the cost of recoil control. Set the sprint to fire speed to negative 0.15 inches and the recoil steadiness to 0.58 ounces. 45 round mag unless you think you can handle 30. If you can handle 30, then just put on, I don't know, overpressured or I don't know, one of these. It doesn't really matter which one you want to choose. It's honestly fine whether you want to use a Schlager or you want to use the Choreo. Completely up to you, whichever one you want to use. But here's the end product, and I'm very proud of this. It's actually amazing too. Now the only downside is, unlike the MP5, the long range, you're going to have to burst fire, so that's going to be a disadvantage, but short range, you're probably going to dominate.